Right after service, we're going to have a prayer circle because we believe in the power of prayer. That is that power for good in the universe that we can use. So if you would like to join us because something's on your heart or in your mind, please join us right at the back of the church. It won't take that much time. And join us for the prayer circle. And also, but if you have something on your heart and you don't want to do the prayer circle, we have a prayer box in the back and you can write it down. And we will pray for you because we believe that that's the power for good in the universe. We have some announcements. Today, after the service, we're going to have our Thanksgiving potluck. So please join us for fun, food, and friends. It ought to be a wonderful time. And tomorrow, Monday, Bill Kale will be back with his Tibetan singing bowls. Those are a wonderful, transformative experience. Some of us like to lay on the floor, so I bring my yoga mat. Some people like to sit in a chair. Whatever you like to do is fine. We have meditation every Wednesday, led at 7:30 p.m., led by Reverend Linda. It's on Zoom, so you don't have to leave the comfort of your own home, and there are cards on the back table that will tell you how to log into the Zoom. Now, when you came in, if you noticed some buckets on the back of the church, that's because we're collecting donations for Ray of Hope for the entire month of November. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to share your abundance. So, let's take a moment to say hello to your neighbor. You can get up and walk around, say hello to an old friend, or meet a new one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you please join us in the congregational song. Awesome. You can remain standing if you would like or not, but please join us in our congregational song. All right.
It's in every one of us. Here we go. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know
So it's that time in our service where we get to bless the children in our congregation, the children in our community, the children in the world, and that divine child within each one of us. So I'd like to ask you now to please join me in this prayer for our children. We
See you, who you really are, made in the image and likeness of God. We cherish you, we support you, and we love you.
So I'd like to ask you now to close your eyes and move within. And know with me that truly there is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is our life right here and right now. God, who is light and love and peace and joy and harmony. God, who is everywhere present. It is in that holy essence that we live and breathe and have our being. We are one with it, individualized expressions of God, one with the one with light and love, one with peace and joy, one with health and wholeness, one with harmony and prosperity. So as I speak my word this day, I know that today and throughout the ensuing week, we walk hand in hand with that divine and holy essence, that it infills us, that each person we meet, we see the God within them, knowing there is only God, looking beyond appearance to the truth of our being. We are all one. We are all one. I know that as we go through our day, we express that light and love and peace and joy that is God, that is us. And for that, I am truly thankful. Thankful for that powerful presence of spirit that fills us up and spills over. Thankful for the opportunity that we have to come together in community. Thankful for this day. Thankful to be alive. I simply say thank you, God, as I release this word now to the perfect working of the perfect law that always, always and only says yes. Please join me in affirming, and so it is. Amen.
I have a song for you written by a friend of mine, Lou Doty, and lyrics are just, when I first heard them, I just tingled all over because they just feel true. So if you want to close your eyes and hear them, or open your eyes and hear them, hope they're a blessing to you.
I didn't know.
He comes home and he groans. They fired him after working all those years. She looks at him and she grins. My darling, that is wonderful to hear. She knows the doors must be closed to be opened. There's a woman in bed and he's dead, the child that she had wanted for so long. Whispering in his ear, bending near, she sings to him her mama's lovely song. She thanks the one for this wonderful moment here and now. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand because they choose it here and now. Everyone that I see would agree that life is just injustice and confusion. But the master inside that we hide, it knows that this injustice is illusion. What we don't learn today, we learn tomorrow. What we don't learn from joy, we learn from sorrow here and now. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand if we just choose it here and now. Are the skies not blue enough? Are the clouds not white enough? Are our lives not true enough? Are the stars not bright enough? Is this earth not beautiful? Are our lives not wonderful here and now? When I look at my life, I could cry. I can't believe the loveliness I'm living. Raise my arms to the sky. I'm grateful for the consciousness I'm given. Thanking the one for this wonderful moment. Knowing that there is just this lovely moment here and now. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand because we choose it here and now. Here and now. Here and now. Here and now.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That was Rochelle, our director of the music ministry, and Steve on bass, and Will on the drums, and Dawn on the piano, and we also have Red Star and Richard, who are part of our house band. Thank you so much, you all. Thank you so much. Oh, you are so reserved today. Come on, let's get a little oomph to it. We love our musicians. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Thank you. Yeah. I'm always thinking I'm the co-director of with You Know Who. And aren't we all? Aren't we all? We're co-directors because we're the only ones who are here directing our lives. We can blame others, or we can point to others, or we can point to situations or whatever we want to and say, this is the reason. And all we're doing is pointing to the reason we reacted to. And so knowing that I am in the presence of geniuses here and everywhere, I know that we call ourselves back from those reactions, from those buttons that get pushed. And we call ourselves back and we respond to life. Doesn't mean we don't have the experience of reaction. Doesn't mean we don't have the experience of up and down. But what I'm talking about is the genius of our soul that is forever with us. And that is where we respond from and what we respond with. Anybody else get God bumps? Amen. Thank you. It's so lovely to be here in your presence today. It's really a lovely day out. Someone told me it was snowing a little bit, and someone else said, well, it was raining when I came in. Someone else said it was starting to freeze. It's all good, isn't it? It's all good. Because if we determine it's not good, what's it going to do? Enjoy it. When we determine it's not good, it upsets our beingness, right? And when I'm upset, it kind of flows out. And it might get on you all you all, in fact. So we pull ourselves back in again. Again, we respond to the genius of our soul, that heart that is beyond this organ, the heart of life. And we respond with a chosen response. Man, because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Thank you, Rochelle. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and we can choose it. Let's just breathe that in. It's at hand, and we can choose it, and we are choosing it. We are choosing it. We've come together. This is absolutely the most magnificent and perfect and grace-filled moment right now. And now. And now. And now. You see, that's how our life moves, from the now to the now to the now. And if we aren't aware of that, then we kind of let it get out of control sometimes, some of us. We let it slip by us, even if we're in a good mood. If we're not aware in the moment of what we're experiencing, we don't have to put words to it. We don't even have to have thoughts around it. But if we can feel the goodness, if we can feel the ease, if we can feel that we're in that freedom, that space of freedom of life, to breathe, to be present, and to express as we choose, then we're in the flow of life. And that's what we're talking about, is the very flow of life, living in the flow, in the miracle of gratitude. And it is said with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God with thanksgiving. You see, it doesn't say, let your requests be known unto God, and if you get them, be thankful. No, it's with thanksgiving. And why is that? Do we think we have to be grateful for something before we can get it? That's what draws it to us? Could be. The power of the mind. Well, there's a power behind the mind, isn't there? How could there be mind without a power behind it? So we have to use all of it. We want to use the power of our mind to bring us into alignment with that which is. We want to use the power of discernment. We want to be so discerning. We want to use the power of faith, which says, I believe in that which I cannot see, but I know to be good. That which is, that which created all that is. I have faith in that. I want to tell you a little story about the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and we experience sometimes just magnificently. And other times, does it seem like you're going to the wrong door to get into the kingdom? Does it seem like the door got closed, or it's an exit instead of an entrance? For heaven's sakes. Well, I want to talk about, I read this story about David Brubeck. And he was a master improvisationalist, jazz musician, David Brubeck. You want to look him up, you want to hear some fabulous music, you do that. But I want to tell you a little story about him. He was also designated a living legend by the Library of Congress. This is a man who was so filled with talent and gift and ability to express it that it just went on and on, right? And he was one of the most active, popular musicians in both jazz and the classical world. And he played concerts all over the world. Now, this is what I want you to hear. He played all over the world, this incredible man with no score and no pre-plan. No score, no pre-plan. He just had a continuous flow of creativity, modulations, and improvisations, never repeating, always new, always different, and incredibly exciting. This was a man that was just moving on the water. And one day he was with his band, and they were traveling, and they were in this huge snowstorm. And because he wasn't driving, he was thinking about how things were going and how many years he'd been doing this and how well life had gone for him. And all of a sudden he got the idea, what if he ran out of creativity? What if he woke up tomorrow night and there wasn't any? Then what? Don't we all sometimes step into a fear that's based on something that could change from the good it already is? Anybody else do that? What if I can't sing tomorrow? Well, no, that wouldn't be me. You know what I'm saying now. So he's thinking about this, and he's contemplating this. And while he's doing it, he's watching the windshield wiper on their car because it's snowing really, really heavy, wet snow. And it's just really struggling to clear the windshield, this wiper is, and he's watching it, and he's watching it. And all of a sudden, he says that his mind cleared. And he had this aha moment. And he realized that for all of time, all over the earth, there's always been snow, and there's never been two snowflakes exactly alike. And he said the universe that provided that kind of a miraculous, almost unimaginable thing was where he got his inspiration and his ability. And that's how the whole world is supported. And why would it be cut off now from him? He knew that was an impossibility. And he went on to finish his life making this incredible music, incredible friendships, incredible gift to the world. And he said he never feared again that the creativity wouldn't be there. And I tell you that story because it's so... Who would think a genius musician would I wouldn't have, think all of a sudden, oh my gosh, what happens if I'm no longer a genius? What happens if it's gone? And you know, that kind of slides into some of our consciousness as we get wiser, older. It does. Oh gosh, can't do that because, oh gosh, that's over because. Well, some things change, including our bodies, but everything doesn't have to change. There was a woman, I want to tell you about her in Seattle. She was a high school principal, I believe, or maybe she was a superintendent of schools. I can't remember exactly. But she had retired, and she was in her late 70s. And she came to Seattle, big church, you know, 1,600 people on a Sunday between the 3 services, and she sang jazz for us that day. It was the most incredible, I got God bumps. It was the most powerful, clear, incredible voice I'd ever heard, singing this jazz up there. And she'd put it off until she retired. And then after she retired, she put it off another, she said, 10 years. Until she was invited out to a club, you know, with some friends, and it was a jazz club, and she trusted. But more than trusting what was in her, she trusted that which created her and brought her to that place of like the rose that no longer could stay in the bud. She had to flower in her late 70s. I love stories like this. We need to hear them. We need to expect that we can live the story that we choose in the way that we want to as our life experience. We want to know that. We want to claim that. And then we want to live from that idea, that belief, that story within us, that song, that music. We are the only one who can give ourselves permission. And when we're in the consciousness, when we're in the flow, the consciousness of the flow of life, then we live with the license to change our lives. We live with the license to alter things in our lives. We live with the license to become more in our lives when we live in the consciousness of the flow. And we do that. We can do this in an expanded way when we find gratitude, when we find things to be grateful for in our lives. And I don't mean on a Thursday and on a Tuesday to make those your gratitude days. I'm talking about standing still. I'm talking about walking and talking, meeting people, opening our eyes. It doesn't have to be a thing in front of us that we're grateful for, but it has to be a feeling within us, the power within us to say, oh, wow. It doesn't even have to be describable what we're grateful for. But it's a part of us that is like it's like the food for the soul. It's the nourishment for the soul. So we had a couple of little things we were working on this week, Linda and I, and they were a couple of them were a little bit challenging. We're doing some different things, and I love it. She said, you know what? It's all going to work out. Now, of course it will. But in the past, I would have said, but not exactly like I want it to work out in the time frame that I want it to work out, and blah, 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 right? But she said, it'll all work out. It's going to work out. And you know what we did then? We moved on. We moved on. And we picked up the next thing to do. That's such a simple step for us to do, but sometimes it isn't what we do. It's all going to work out, but. It's all going to work out, and did you know? It's all going to work out, and what if? Oh my goodness. We want to free ourselves, and stay in the flow instead of trying to grab onto the reeds on the left side of the river or the whatever on the right side of the river. We want to keep in that flow of life, which in the river of life, we want to stay in that flow so that we aren't constricted. What happened to that thing? Okay. Well, Dawn, I don't know what's going on here. Okay, here we go. This morning when our musicians came together, I just love joy. And they all are such a joyful group. And the longer they work together, the more joy and happiness I hear and see and experience from them. They're just... It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing. So we got up here and we were going to do our little prayer circle. And I opened the prayer circle and I said, Dear God in heaven, this is Yvonne. I'd like some new shoes and I'd like one pair to be red. We don't want to take ourselves too seriously. You know, when that happens, we just kind of cut off the flow again. We think it's us. And not it. We contribute to the life that we're living. But there's a power and an energy and a goodness behind that, behind everything. That's where the gratitude, that's where the experience of gratitude expands our lives. Because we're not going to be grateful for what we see or what we want or what we got or what has happened. We want to be grateful that we live to know and see and hear and think and experience. But grateful to that power beyond all of that. The true meaning of affluence, and we want to look at that too, because there's legitimate affluence in this on planet Earth for everyone. And if we're experiencing a lack, which there is lack all over the place, right? We know that. We know, there's all different kinds of lack and in different places, but it's caused not by God saying they didn't deserve it, or there's not enough for everyone, or these people should suffer and these should be rewarded. Nothing like that. It's lack and abundance right here that's being distributed is about the human obstruction or the human idea of it. Or any other word you want to put in, that's fine. Yeah, we create the obstruction. It wasn't God. It isn't God. We're not being punished. We're not being rewarded. We were given all that we could ever have or need or want in our birth, which means that we are whole, perfect, and complete. And then we start gathering things out here. This is what I need, and this is what I want, and this is what I'll share, and this is what I won't share. That's not the gift of the kingdom of heaven. But that's the outpicturing of us as human beings living on earth and in the kingdom of heaven. So when we have a consciousness of this power that is greater than all thought, this power that is behind all that is, this power that is all that is, when we get in that kind of a consciousness, when we even contemplate that a little bit, we open ourselves to a different and a greater experience if we allow ourselves to stay open. Yeah. And then we attract opportunities for giving forth. We attract opportunities for receiving. I just love it when I think I know something and then I meet someone else that can add to what I think I know, the totality of. Man, I love that. Because I want to grow. And I want to grow from love. I want to receive in love and give of love. And so that's what I expect from all the interactions I have. And I forget sometimes. But I have the beloveds to remind me. And we all do, if that's what we want to be reminded of. If we want to be reminded of anything less than loving expression, we can find it. But remember, I believe that we are here and interacting with all of humanity in two different ways. Every experience we have is either a call for love or an expression of love. And we are at choice, like she said. The kingdom of heaven is at hand, and you can choose it. And then as we are choosing the higher thing for ourselves, to know that higher thing for ourselves, and the higher thought for others, it becomes habitual. And the next thing you know, we're not gossiping, or we're not judging, or we're not holding on to the old pain because so-and-so hurt my feelings, or so-and-so did this to me, or I was left out of something. We aren't holding on to those. We're staying right here in the moment. And what do I want to do with what I brought with me? What do I want to do with that? What do you want to do with the memories? What do you want to do with the pain? Because we're all at choice. What do you want to do with the knowledge you received? This is the time of year we're getting, Thanksgiving's this coming week, and then after Thanksgiving we have Christmas. And no matter how you celebrate this holiday season, I know it's hard for some folks because most of us, or a lot of us, have lost someone we've loved, either through death or divorce or moved away, whatever it was, but we've experienced loss in our lives. And it seems like it comes up during the holiday season. It seems like it's a little rawer at that time. Yeah. So not to dismiss it, but to love it. To love that part of ourselves that carries that pain or that feeling of whatever it is, the loss. Just love that self right back into alignment where we can appreciate what we feel the loss was from. Appreciate the person, appreciate the time, appreciate the experiences, appreciate they're gone, whatever it might be. You know what causes you pain in your life. And are you ready? Are you ready to let it go? Are you ready to release the accusation that it should have been different, that you didn't get enough time, that it wasn't right, that you deserved more, that you screwed up? Whatever the accusation is, are you ready to release it? We have so many ways to free ourselves up. And we don't have to say, well, I'm going to work on releasing this one idea about so-and-so or whatever, and I'm going to work on it until February. Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, for goodness sakes. How about some... Let it go. Release it. Put it down. Accept. Enjoy. When they play music up here, how long does it last? It lasts while they're playing, doesn't it? The joy and the beauty and everything goes on. We can feel it and carry it with us forever and sing, as we remember it. But they're here and they do it in a time frame. Why don't we do that same thing with our pain, with our disappointment, with our anger? We can if we choose. We can if we choose. Oh, I want to tell you something else. Jesus said, "Come, O blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Come, O blessed of my Father. Come." The invitation is for us not to hold back, not to hold on to the old ideas, the old ways, the old thoughts, the old pain. The idea is to come forth naked. Because we've been clothed in ideas that no longer work for us. We've been clothed in anger because of things that have happened. We've been clothed in disappointment and fear. Let us strip the clothes away and leave that beautiful nakedness for the glory of God, that we may see who we are, that we may be seen as who we are. Right where you are and right where I am, God is now. Where we go and whoever we go with, God is there. Whatever we do and however we choose to do it, God is there. When we fall not alone, for God is there. And when we see only our ego whirling us around, telling us how great we are or how bad we've been, we are not alone, for God is there. So let us move into the opulence of life. Let us move into that generosity of spirit, that gratitude, that flow of supply from source. So that whatever we desire, be it love, be it greater riches, money, if whatever it is, or things, whatever it is that we desire, may we know that anything and everything is of source. And may we know that we need to become that which source works through, moves as, and expresses through. May we remember that in this time of giving thanks, that all that we are is a blessing. It's the blessing of God expressing itself as us, through us, for the greater and the higher good of the world. And so you and I, we are all important, needed, and loved by Creator. And allowing this truth that God is where you are, God is where I am. We are never alone. Allowing that truth to be the high truth that we live from. May we say thank you, sweet Spirit. And know that it is so. And together we say, and so it is. And so it is now and forevermore. Amen.
You who joined us online for being with us today. We wish you could be here in person, but maybe one day that'll happen. But we really, really appreciate the support you give us and definitely hope that you continue to come and join us online. And as our ushers come forward, please